Hello everybody and welcome back to Voltz. So, I finally found the command to go to a random area, and when I used the command, I got teleported into this snowy field somewhere over there. Well, here I am. I noticed this thing on the map, and this would appear to be a strange matter generator, maybe even a failed one at that. Yeah, it's a strange matter generator. You've got particle accelerators on either end. They launch, and when they collide, there's a chance that strange matter will be generated right here. This is the worst design I've ever seen, but I guess maybe it works? Question mark. So I murdered a bunch of innocent animals and got their raw flesh, and I also picked up a couple flowers, because you never know when flowers are going to be useful. I mean, in this game, the stupidest little things, like what immediately comes to mind is playing Railcraft. I had this massive issue of I was playing Railcraft, and I needed anyone who knows anything about Railcraft knows that, like, oh, what's the name of that stupid thing? Anyone who plays Railcraft knows that the crowbar, that's it. The crowbar is like a godsend, always. And it's like how you edit things, it's how you manipulate rails, it's how you change settings, it is everything. And in its recipe, it requires rose red dye. Because I guess whenever you have a crowbar, it is of utmost importance that it is red. So, yeah, I'm gonna slowly clear out this, strange matter gen. I didn't even refined obsidian. Oh shit, that should be good, right? Yeah, again, this is me lagging horribly, not the server. There's nobody even on the server to lag right now. Yeah, I don't mind if I do. Somebody's gonna leave me a free strange matter generator just laying around. I will be more than happy to take that off your hands at no charge to you. And this should actually be a good startup, because now we have electromagnets, which, once we get some uranium, can be used to make some fuel. And we also have this refined obsidian, which is one of the strongest blocks in the game. So it'll help us reinforce, say, the nuclear reactor, because I don't trust reactors. They're just so weird. And they're finicky. Like, there's a way to make thermometers. There's a way to make thermometers that automatically turn off the system when the system gets so hot, but I don't really understand how to use them all that well, and so I always have this reservation that I'm going to turn around and then it's going to blow up behind me, and then I will be up a creek without a paddle. I don't even recognize what that one is. Maybe basalt or something? The rednet cable can fuck off. I really don't need rednet cable. What is that? A paved blackstone. And this thing's pretty much topped off. Let's just do that. And stack these with cobble, and maybe make some cobble go into the void. Now we take that stack and we reorganize everything in our inventory. And this is actually just a lag generator right here, because what happens is a hopper places items into an open slot in an inventory. So this hopper is placing an item into that hopper, which is then giving it back. And you can see it here. Like, if we take half the stack there, we can open this one, and we can put that half a stack back in. And that's all it does, is it makes lag. That's its sole purpose in life. So, that's a little pro tip there for you. we'll probably get a forward operating base made, and I'm kind of on the fence how I want to build this. I mean, this server doesn't really seem that active anymore, and so I'm not too horribly concerned about a raid. But at the same time, last time I built a base, it was above ground, it was this huge castle, it had a trench and a wall that went all the way around it, and it was fairly secure. I mean, it wasn't my best work, if I'm honest. And just looking at it, it seemed pretty good, but then you ran into some major issues. Yeah. You ran into some pretty bad issues. I was getting griefed all the time because, I mean, the wall was only like one thick cobblestone, and even though it went up, it was so high that power armor tuned to maximum still couldn't jump over it. I mean, it was insanely huge, but it just really wasn't that good, honestly. And that's for no reason other than, it was exposed. I mean, it got nuked. Somebody nuked the fuck out of it. There we go. So now that I've not got my coordinates showing here, so this is just a lag generator. It has no other purpose in life. Let's go slaughter this cow. There's a zombie there. I'm not worried about him at the moment. Just murder these cows in cold blood real quick. He's dead. You're next, Bacon. Yes, I just named this cow Bacon, because why the hell not? That was fruitless. Hey, there's a zombie villager. If you had a potion of weakness and a golden apple, you could turn him into a normal villager again, but I don't have either of those. Some iron, we'll grab that right up here. You know, venturing into another cave with particle reactors on, or particle accelerators on me, is probably not my brightest idea, honestly. But you know what, we're just gonna go with it. Why the hell not? Set home 1. Okay, there. So now we have a home set here. So if we die or something, we have a place to go back to. And there's all kinds of resources in this cave. There's a couple of tin there. There's, ooh, coal. I know one of my friends who would love them some coal. And we have to deal with lag, so we're gonna have to mine it like 3 to 4 times. Our inventory's pretty much full. We can get rid of that 1 dirt. And that stack of 40 cobblestone can go away too. And it's one of those things, it's like, I like bases that are just stone, like solid stone. I think they look nice. But at the same time, it all has to be the same. So it's either all cobblestone or all stone. It can't be a mix of the two. That's just like my thing, really. I can't stand mixed bases. I just think it looks horrible. Unless you have like a very strict pattern, it just doesn't look good. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and grab that coal. I see that creeper over there. We're gonna try our best not to let him creep up on me. Some iron way up there. Iron is more valuable than gold in this game is. I mean, really. You'll use iron for pretty much everything. Everything needs iron, which makes it insanely valuable. Whereas gold just really isn't used that much. It's too rare. Nobody ever really uses it. And yeah. That's some Certus quartz there. We're gonna need that to build the ME system, which it has 2 drops. So let's get rid of our snowballs, really. What are we going to use snowballs for? Alright, we got some Certus Quartz dust and some Certus Quartz. I don't know if I'm saying that right. If I spit on the pronunciation, I'm not very sorry, because I'm going to do it again. But, yeah. So, eventually we're going to want to make an ME system. And ME systems are really good because all they are is they store your inventory digitally. So then if I put something in the ME system, it acts just like a chest. It stores that item. But then I can run terminals off of it just like computer monitors, so that you can pull resources out of that computer from any point that's wired. And so I could have a terminal 100 blocks away, and it could still draw from that same inventory. And so ME systems are really good. They're also a major step in automation. At some point we're going to want to make our base automated so that every ore is smelted automatically. And hopefully I'll rebuild the World Eater, kind of. I mean, it's not going to be the same unstoppable munches everything machine. It's not going to be that. And that's just out of respect for the admins, if I'm being honest. But we'll make a very mild version of the World Eater, and we'll see where that gets us. And hopefully we'll get some resources, and after we get them, we'll be able to auto smelt them, because I know how to make a system for that too. The secret that everybody always seems to miss is this device called a configurator, and it's, I think, a buildcraft thing. I'm not very good at my mod names, but I think it's in buildcraft, and it takes the machines like the enrichment chamber, the crusher, all of those kind of factory blocks, and it makes it so that by putting an item into one side, rather than just going into empty inventory, what it does is it, rather than just go into an empty inventory, it puts it in a specific slot. Because all of those things have very specific slots that do different things, really. And I'm going to hope that y'all can actually see this recording, because, you know, I've been shooting in like pitch blackness for the past 10 minutes. But the configurator allows you to choose what block gets put into what slot. So, like, if you're trying to make sand, you don't want to, and you have a pulverizer, you don't want to take, the sand and put it in the power slot. That would just be a stupid waste of time, and nothing would get done, because obviously sand does not provide power. Well, using a configurator, you could actually make it so that the sand goes into the to be processed slot, and then once it's processed, it turns into sand. Or it would be cobblestone going in that slot, but whatever. And that's what the configurator does. And all the ME system does is it puts it in there. It adds the block to that side. And so that is one of the major steps in automation, which I will hopefully get into, and that's part of it. That's another inspiration for making this series. It's not so much, you know, a vendetta against anyone. It's also kind of sharing knowledge, because I've played this mod pack for a couple of years now, like 2 to 3 at least. And I mean, I don't think I'm bad at it per se. But yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. We're also going to get rid of that stone, because we don't need that yet. But yeah, I've played this game for a couple of years, and I've played Voltz for most of that. And you just, going from server to server, you pick up all these little tips and tricks, you watch different people, and they all know different things, and they research, and they accomplish their goals as well, and then you get people like me that just have no life and they watch YouTube for a couple of years. And so meta, right? I'm mentioning YouTube while you're watching a YouTube video. That's just how good I am. Yep. But you learn all these little tips and tricks, and it's these little small things like the automation. You learn how to automate systems, and that automation just, it lets you do everything. I can automate, I know how to make an ME computer, which the ME computers allow auto crafting. So I can think of the most complicated thing you can think of in this whole mod pack. And I can take iron ore and, uranium ore, and I can tell the computer how to do those things. You can teach the ME computer everything from how to smelt iron to how to build a nuclear reactor. And it can build the parts. The only thing you have to do is actually place them to assemble it. And I mean, it's just crazy how these things work. I mean, it's a really cool system. And once you've learned how to use it, then you can make pretty much anything you want with it. Which is part of why I love the ME mod so much. I mean, I know I say I mean a lot, which is just random, I guess. I've never had a problem really saying that before. But the only thing I don't like is the mod is called Applied Energistics, and it actually has a really cool name. I like it. But then the issue is that they made a sequel to it, Applied Energistics 2. Same thing, same concept, same game, but they add certain things to it. Like, there then became the issue of... There was then the issue of finding meteors. In Applied Energistics 2, meteors would fall from the sky. And that sounds really cool, and it actually was. That was one of the coolest parts, was watching a meteor fall. But that creates an issue. In order to be able to build an ME computer, you have to find one of these super rare meteors. And that must have just been my sound delaying. I don't know. I thought I heard it was someone placing blocks. There it is again. I'm probably just losing my mind, because that seems to be the trend of the day, is me slowly losing my sanity. But you could go around and you could find all kinds of stuff, like those meteors. And once you find the meteor, there would be a chest in it somewhere, and you could take the chest, and it would have stuff in it that would be necessary to craft, really. And so you would go through and you'd find these meteors, and once you found them, you could use the resources in them. That looks like crap, but we're going to go with it. You would use the resources that you had found in the meteors to build the computer, and then the computer would you could then store stuff in the computer, which was a really awesome system. But in the world I was playing in, it wasn't Voltz. It was another mod pack. I think it was like Wild West something. I don't remember off the top of my head. But it was a set size, and it couldn't grow, it couldn't shrink, it never reset. It became very stale. And so we found out that there was a total of, I think, 2 meteors that dropped in the entire world. And I had managed to find and excavate every single block of them, which had taken me quite a while, but I did it, because I wanted to get those parts to do it. You had to have, like, patterns and stuff. And once you found the patterns, then you were able to, you could make chipsets and stuff. which is just basic computer pieces that you would then use to make more advanced computer stuff. And then it was just a loop. It kept going, really. And that was one of the cooler things about it. But because the meteors had stopped falling, there was only 2 chipsets in the entire game. And to get those chipsets, you had to get them from another player, because there was no other way of getting them. There was nowhere to find them ever. They were just scattered around. And so if you had to either barter with another player to get them, or you had to raid them. And neither of those worked for some reason for me. And I ended up getting the chipsets from, I don't remember what kind of shady deal I made, but I remember I pretty much pissed off everybody when I did. And then we just went really downhill from there, because some guy that someone had trusted and let into the base, he had turned out to be bad, actually. And he had seen our computer system. Well, he stole the whole thing, including all of the chipsets. And I had kept them in a locked safe the entire time, because I knew somebody was going to try to take them, and they were worth more than anything else in the entire game. And he took them, and I never got them back. So then we couldn't build another computer, because we couldn't have the chipsets to make them. But yeah, Applied Energistics is one of my favorite mods. I'm going to go ahead and call it here, where it's been about a 20-minute episode. Y'all have a good night.